السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. In our last Saturday, we discussed about Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala, and this week, today inshallah ta'ala, we're going to discuss about another Imam, that is Imam Malik. Imam Malik ibn Anas radiyallahu anhu, rahimahullah ta'ala. Imam Malik is one of the greatest scholars of Medina, greatest scholars of Medina. And when we talk about the situation in Medina, the situation in Medina was not like the situation when Imam Abu Hanifa was there in Kufa. In Kufa, a lot of fitna, a lot of madahibs, a lot of kawa, a lot of firqa, and a lot of turmoil between the Abbasiyya, Umayyah, and there was a lot of confusion. Many people accepting Islam, and there was a lot of confusion and qillatul ilm, lack of knowledge. But when it comes to Medina, Medina is a place where it was protected from this kind of things, except for some little political reasons here and there. So Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, he was actually born into the scholars in Medina. Born into scholars in Medina. So Medina was well protected by Sahaba radiallahu anhum and their progeny, and they had this deen well preserved because many scholars and many Sahaba stayed back in Medina and they passed away in Medina. So Medina was basically a safe place. Is it clear? Now talking about Imam Malik ibn Anas, he was born in 93 Hijri. 93 Hijri. So in my last class, there was a small mistake which I made about the date of birth of Imam Abu Hanifa, where I mentioned he was born in 699 Hijri. It's not actually Hijri; it is actually the year, the other calendar. So he was actually born in 76, 80 Hijri. 80 Hijri. Imam Malik was born in the year 93 Hijri, 93. Okay, is it clear? 93. What's his full name? What is the full name of Imam Malik? And Imam Malik's full name is Malik ibn Anas. Malik ibn Anas ibn Abi Amir al-Asbahi al-Yamani. Al-Asbahi al-Yamani. Basically, Imam Malik is from Yemen. His parents are from Yemen. His grandfather is from Yemen. Abu Amr al-Asbahi is actually from Yemen. And when Abu Amr migrated to Medina, he settled with, and he migrated during the time of Umar radiallahu anhu. Umar radiallahu anhu. Basically, the grandfather of Imam Malik was a student of Aisha radiallahu anha, was a student of Ali radiallahu anhu, was a student of Uthman, was the student of Talha and other Sahaba radiallahu anhu. And he was very close to them. And he was very close to them. Who? The grandfather of Imam Malik. And the father of Imam Malik was himself a scholar. Was himself a scholar. So Imam Malik was born into a family where there are scholars. Grandfather, not only a scholar, but also if you see during the time of Uthman and when there was this committee, they had arranged a committee in order to preserve the Quran. He was one among them. He was one among them. And not only that, when Uthman radiallahu anhu he passed away, there were certain people who were responsible to bury Uthman radiallahu anhu. And the grandfather of Imam Malik was one among them who was responsible, subhanAllah. And the son of Imam Malik, son of Ibn Abi Amr, that is Malik ibn Anas, Anas rahimahullah, the father of Imam Malik was himself a scholar. And not only that, the brother of Imam Malik, another, his name is Nadar. What's his name? Nadar. He himself was a scholar. The uncle of Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, he was the teacher of Imam al-Zuhri. Imam al-Zuhri. So now you can understand where Imam Malik is actually born. He was born into a family of scholars. And not only that, Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, he was not poor. He was rich. As I told you in my last class, among all the Imams, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad, and Imam Shafi'i, Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik were rich among them. They were rich. His father was rich. His family was rich. But when it comes to Shafi'i and when it comes to Imam Ahmad, they were not rich. They were from a poor family. So Imam Malik, talking about his birth, it was kind of controversial. Controversial in the sense it is a kind of subhanallah. His mother's name is Aliya bin Sharik. Aliya bint Sharik. She gave birth to Imam Malik, and Imam Malik was in the womb of his mother for 3 years almost. For 3 years. Normally, we come to know this. We normally hear that the pregnancy is about maximum to maximum 7 months to 9 months. After 9 months, obviously the child will come out, right? But Imam Malik was there in the womb of the mother for 3 years. And this is a shocker for you people. Why? Because there is another community, another tribe in Middle East. The tribe is known as Banu Tamim. Banu Tamim. And you know what is the minimum the pregnancy of those women? The pregnancy of those women is about 4 years. They keep the child 4 years in the stomach. Only after that they will be able to deliver. This is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Generally, it is 9 months, maximum 7 months. The child is formed after 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, the child is formed in the stomach. And there is one particular tribe which is known as Banu Tamim. They carry the child for 4 years. After 4 years, they deliver the child. So similarly, Imam Malik was in the stomach, the womb of his mother for about 3 years, for about 2 to 3 years. And this has been narrated by Imam Shafi'i and many other scholars, which is Sahih, inshallah ta'ala. So what is the physical appearance of Imam Malik? Imam Malik was known as a white-skinned man. White skin. Normally, we know that the Arabs are, not fair. Arabs are actually brown in color. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not fair. He was not white. He was a wheatish complexion between the white and wheatish. So be proud, all the people who are wheatish. Rasulullah sallam is kind of wheatish. And also Adam alayhi salam was ahmar. Ahmar means brown complexion. Musa alayhi salam was a dark. And Sulaiman and many prophets, and many of them were brown colored or dark colored, not very fair. And so don't worry about your complexion, inshallah. Okay, worry about your taqwa. So Imam Malik was completely contrary when it comes to the skin color of the Arabs. Arabs are generally brown in color. So Imam Malik was extremely fair, like a white person. And not only that, he had blonde hair. And not only that, he had blue color eyes. And not only that, he was extremely tall and he was extremely handsome. And now you can understand it, a person with knowledge. And Allah has given him Jamal, the beauty, you can understand. And Allah made him famous. SubhanAllah. These are the benefits from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Normally, you'll not find some scholars to be beautiful. Some of the scholars are handsome, beautiful, they have a good lineage, born into. So Imam Malik was basically born into a family of scholars. He was given the ilm, he was given the beauty, he was given, every single thing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a blessing. If Allah has given anybody these things, you have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam Malik, if you see, he was not very studious from childhood. He was like, he used to always play with pigeons. Always used to play with pigeons. And he was not very serious like his brother. His brother was very serious when it comes to studies. Another, he's also scholar, very serious when it comes to studies. But Imam Malik was not serious at all. He wanted to become a musician. He wanted to become a singer. Who? Imam Malik wanted to become a singer. And sometimes he used to dress like singers, to imitate like singers. Nowadays, singers are different. The dress is different. But during those times, the singers' dress was different. So Imam Malik was used to play with pigeons, and he wants to generally, play, want to become musician. And one day, what happened? There is a turning point. You see, in everybody's life, there is a turning point. Either it goes that way, either it goes this way. So turning point of Imam Malik is that once his father asked Imam Malik and Imam Malik and his brother another a fiqh question. A question that related to some kind of masail. So Imam Malik was not able to answer the question, and his brother, he answered the question. So that's when his father, he told, verily, your pigeons has kept you busy from gaining knowledge. From gaining knowledge. Imam Malik became extremely curious, angry. Okay, that's when he decided to gain knowledge. Then he went to the first scholar, first teacher, Rabi'atul Ra'i. You must have heard. Rabi'atul Ra'i is from among the scholars of Medina, and he's from the Ahlul Ra'i. he goes to Rabia and he start gaining knowledge. And he stayed with Rabia for 2 years, gaining knowledge, and he learned some other, learn everything. Then later, after 2 years, he went and studied from a different scholar. And Rabia actually was one of the scholars who used to teach in Medina. It was his mother. Whose mother? The Imam Malik's mother, who told, go and study adab from Rabia. If you see Imam Malik's teacher, Imam Malik did not only learn hadith or fiqh or anything from the scholars actually. He learned many things. He learned their behavior. One different scholar, he learned that behavior. From another scholar, he learned another behavior. And not only that, adab, as I always say to my students, that adab manners are not inherited. The manners are learned. You can't inherit manners. Manners can be inherited little here and there by learning the books, by from your parents. Manners can be inherited sometimes. But generally, in most of the cases, what happens is manners are learned. So whenever sometimes you read the hadith, but you not be able to understand how to apply that hadith, how to apply that hadith when it comes to manners, and how will you be able to apply that hadith is when you sit with the scholars, when you sit with the people who has knowledge, when you see the way they behave, that's when you inherit knowledge, isn't it? That is how Imam Malik, he learned some manners from Rabi'a at Roy, and he went to another scholar, that is Abdullah bin Yazid Abdullah bin Yazid ibn al-Hurmuz ibn al-Hurmuz. He is one of the other scholars in Medina, very famous. And Imam Malik rahimahullah, he stayed with him for 7 years. He learned from him for 7 whole years. And not only that, this particular Ibn Hurmuz became one of the favorite teachers of Imam Malik. Imam Malik used to say that, I love Imam Hurmuz. To an extent, from morning till evening, Imam Malik used to spend his entire time spending time with Imam Hurmuz to learn the fiqh, to learn the manners and everything. One day, what happened? One of the slave girl of Ibn Hurmuz, okay, she found Imam Malik sitting outside. And Imam Hurmuz asked, "Who is there? Anybody sitting outside?" She says, "Yes, Malik is sitting." Okay, ask him to come inside. And that was not the hours of teaching, but Ibn Hurmuz taught Imam Malik even outside the times of the sessions, the from the durus. And he told, this is the man who is going to become a greatest scholar in the future. You can understand when a teacher says to a student, you will be one of the greatest scholars. Teacher understands this man is going to become one of the greatest of Sima in the future. And not only him, many scholars said this. So Ibn Hurmuz used to spend a lot of time with Imam Malik used to spend a lot of time with Ibn Hurmuz. And one of the other manners that Imam Malik learned, especially from Ibn Hurmuz, is that there is this thing called the madhab of Maliki madhab is famous for saying I don't know. Saying I don't know. Somebody comes and asks you a question, they say I don't know. What is the meaning of I don't know? If somebody asks you what is the meaning of this, what is the fiqh ruling of this, they say I do not know. So saying I do not know need a lot of guts. You are a big scholar. Somebody comes to you and asks you a question, and you say, I do not know, needs a lot of guts. Imam Malik says, I do not know. We have a story that which is famous, a person who comes all the way from Maghrib, from Morocco, asking some questions to Imam Malik, around 40 questions he asks, and Imam Malik was able to answer only 3 or 4 questions. And that man, he says that, we are coming from Maghrib and I've been sent to you saying that, you should be knowing all the answers. But then what am I supposed to do when I go back? What am I supposed to answer them? What about this 36 questions which I do not have answer? What am I supposed to do? Then Imam Malik tells him, go and tell them Imam Malik does not know about all these things. Okay, basically, there are a few other things which are required in this matter. Imam Malik, either he did not answer it because the customs of the land differs from the other land. So for a mufti, it is very important to know the customs of the land and the customs of the people. That is one of the things. So you can't ask a scholar who's living in Saudi or Qatar or Egypt or anywhere, asking some of the fatwas related to India. You need to ask the scholars who are in India. This is one of the conditions of giving fatwa. But here, some people they say there are no scholars in India. You can't gain knowledge from India. There is no scholars here. There are some people, and if you come across such kind of people, whoever says there are no scholars in India, stay away from such kind of people. They are juhal, absolutely ignorant people. Stay away from such kind of people, inshallah ta'ala. So here, that's why he couldn't answer, and he didn't have an answer. He didn't have an answer. That is the tariqah of Imam Malik. And second teacher of Imam Malik is Nafi'. Who's Nafi'? Nafi' Mawla Ibn Umar. Nafi', the slave of Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu. Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu, he had a slave called Nafi'. And Nafi' is actually from Abyssinia. Actually from Abyssinia. And Imam Nafi', he was known to narrate a lot of hadith, especially from Abdullah bin Umar. Especially from Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu. And if you see, there is a thing called golden chain in Bukhari and Muslim. There's a thing called golden chain. When we say what is golden chain, it is not the chain that you wear. Golden chain means every hadith has got chain. Every hadith has got chain. It's not that I heard from so and so, he heard from so and so, he heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the golden chains is that Malik from Nafi'. Nafi' heard from Ibn Umar. Ibn Umar heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This particular chain is known as golden chain. Golden chain. So there is only 2 or 3 people between the narrator and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Imam Malik had the privilege to have his name in this golden chain. That's why you will find many ahadith in Kutub Sitta, this particular chain where you find Imam Malik's name. Imam Malik heard from Nafi'. Nafi' heard from Ibn Umar. Ibn Umar heard from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is known as the golden chain. Is it clear? So Imam Nafi', he was an Abyssinian, and he used to live in Medina, and he had narrated many hadith from from Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu. And we know that Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu is from among those Sahaba radiallahu anhu who used to even follow the footsteps of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So wherever he knows exactly where Rasulullah kept his steps from, footsteps. So he used to keep exactly on the same place. Sometimes whenever he used to travel, he used to go and sit under some of the trees where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to sit. And that was how Abdullah bin Umar used to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this sunnah is not necessary to follow, but yet it is out of the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They used to follow it. Imagine when it comes to the obligatory acts, and when it comes to mustahabbat, when it comes to other acts, wajibat in the religion of Islam. So Nafi' is actually a product of Abdullah bin Umar, and Imam Malik becomes a product of Nafi'. Now you can understand how Imam Malik is having knowledge. And one more thing which I want to tell you is the difference between Imam Abu Hanifa and Malik is that Imam Malik has extensively started learning about the hadith. And here Imam Abu Hanifa had less a number of scholars he had, and there were only fiqh masail and less hadith. But in Medina, there were many hadith, many scholars, many of them directly studied from the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. To talk about Imam Malik, whether he's a tabi'in or not, Imam Malik is not a tabi'in. He's not from the 3rd generation, but he's from the Khairul Qurun. But he heard, because the year he was born, the same year, one of the Sahabi passed away, Anas ibn Malik. So Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, he passed away, and Malik ibn Anas takes birth in the same year, subhanAllah. The same time, Imam Abu Hanifa passed away, same year, Imam Shafi'i takes birth, subhanAllah. Like you see, Allah takes away somebody, and Allah will send somebody. And Imam Malik is from among the the scholars of Hijaz. When we say Hijaz, Makkah, Medina, these Riyadh and other places, Hijaz. He's an Imam of the Hijaz. He's an Imam of Hijaz. So he learned knowledge from Imam Nafi. Then he next another scholar is Imam Shihab al-Zuhri. Imam Shihab al-Zuhri. Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri is also from a Muhaddithin, and you'll find many of the hadith which is in Kutub Sitta. And Imam Shihab al-Zuhri, Imam Malik used to go and learn many hadith from him. Almost like every there is a thing between Imam Malik and Zuhri. Imam Zuhri used to narrate every time 30 hadith. He only teaches 30 at one session, 30 hadith. What Imam Malik used to do, he used to tie a knot on his thread. So whenever one hadith is narrated, he ties a knot. Another hadith is narrated, he ties a knot. Another hadith is narrated, he ties a knot. Out for every hadith, he keeps tying the knots. Okay. So with this, he remembers the number of hadith that he has memorized from Imam al-Zuhri. Imam al-Zuhri. Is it clear now? So one day what happened? Imam al-Zuhri narrated 30 hadith, but Imam Malik was able to tie only 29 hadith, 29 knots. And he was extremely frustrated because of that. Again, he goes back to him and he takes ilm and he memorizes. Imam Malik, he memorizes. He hears the hadith and he memorizes. He hears the hadith, he memorizes. So one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted the scholars is that they were given extremely, great memory of remembering things, memorizing Quran, memorizing, what is a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is one of the things for every student of knowledge is that, they have to memorize. But there is one thing I will tell you, not only memorize. Imam Malik says it is not about memorizing how many books. It is not about reading how many books. It's all about understanding what you have studied. A person must have studied one mas'ala. Okay, it is not about it is not about knowing qawaid and furu and Quran and hadith. There are many hufad, there are many people who memorize Quran, yes or no, but they do not know what is the meaning of what Allah talks about. Many people have memorized the hadith, but they do not know, they do not have the understanding. What is important in the religion of Islam is that it is not necessary that you have memorized many books. And what is important is that you should be able to understand the rules and regulations. The rules and regulations. That is why very important. Some of the scholars whom I know, they have not memorized Quran, but they know the entire main verses of the Quran, and they know the fiqh masail, they know the qawaid, they know the principles. That is more important than memorizing. But if you memorize, it adds up more and more credibility for a scholar, inshallah ta'ala. There is another teacher of Imam Malik, that is Amrah, and she was a teacher. She was a female. She was a female. And Amrah, rahimahullah, she studied from Aisha radiallahu anha. And she is from among the greatest of the scholars of those times. So Imam Malik basically had many teachers who were male and female, and also Imam Malik had many students who are male and female. And from among the students of Imam Malik is also his own daughter, Fatima. And she herself memorized Muwatta, and she herself memorized Quran. She was one of the persons who carried his the knowledge further. So Imam Malik had Amrah. Then he had another teachers, Jafar as-Sadiq. Who's Jafar as-Sadiq? From the great grandsons of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he learned asceticism, zuhud, from Jafar as-Sadiq, and knowledge from Jafar as-Sadiq. Imam Malik, he says that whenever I meet Jafar as-Sadiq, I find him in three different situations. Either he is praying, either he is fasting, or either he's reading Quran. These are three situations always he is in. Whenever I meet Jafar as-Sadiq, either is fasting, or either is praying, or either is learning. And Imam talk about Shihab al-Zuhri. Shihab al-Zuhri, subhanallah, he used to spend almost all his time in learning books, studying books. To an extent, he passed away in his library, in his own library. Is it clear? So learning, having love towards the books, having love toward the hadith, this is something which is very important for the scholars, inshallah ta'ala. There is another scholar called Muhammad ibn Munkadir, and we have mentioned about this in the Imam Abu Hanifa's class also. He was a teacher of Imam Abu Hanifa, and he's also a teacher of Imam Malik. And we have Hisham ibn Urwa. Hisham ibn Urwa is son of Abdullah bin Zubayr radiallahu anhu. And also we have plenty of scholars where Imam Malik, rahimahullah, he learned his knowledge from. And when Imam Malik reached the age of 21, what is 21? 21 years old, he was allowed to give fatwa. Nowadays, 21-year-old girl or a boy, Forget of being asking them to give fatwa. They don't even know Surah Fatiha properly. That is our situation here. But if you ask them to sing a song, they'll be able to sing a song. They'll be able to name the Bollywood, Hollywood actors. There is a new trend going on BTS, Korean BTS, Japanese, whatever it is, I don't know. Something is going on. They know all these things, but they do not know who are the scholars. They do not know uh, how they are Muslims in the generation. But they have good knowledge about all these things. 21-year-old boy and girl nowadays, they have no knowledge. Subhanallah. That's why youngsters gain knowledge, be serious, be serious about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make these make these the scholars as as instructors, mentors in your life. If you want to see, you can't see such kind of scholars nowadays, but read and learn their biographies so that you can learn a lot of things from them. Like Imam Malik, he learned manners from different scholars, zuhud from different scholars, knowledge from different scholars, the way of conduct from different scholars. This is how you learn knowledge. This is how you benefit yourself and the others, inshallah ta'ala. So Imam Malik, he was not allowed to give, he didn't give fatwa until 70 of the ulama, until 70 of the ulama told him, now you are allowed to give fatwa. And when he was 21-year-old, he started giving fatwa. And when it comes to Imam Malik, there are many things, subhanAllah. Imam Malik, when it comes to teaching, when it comes to his appearance, he used to wear extremely good clothes, like Imam Abu Hanifa, like Imam Abu Hanifa. And always he wear good clothes. Whenever he wants to teach in Masjid al-Nabawi, and he used to sit in the same place where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to sit in Masjid al-Nabawi. And not only that, he took the house where Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu used to stay in Medina. He bought that house and he stayed in the same house. He stayed in the same house, teaching in the place of Rasulullah, sitting in the place of Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu anhu, say in his house. And Imam Malik, he says, the students of Imam Malik says that he always wear good clothes. He always wear good, what do you say, turban. And to an extent, one of the scholars, he says that I don't see a difference between a king and an alim, a scholar. He's always well dressed. Somebody asked Imam Malik, why do you wear such good clothes? He says, I am teaching the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am taking the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the best of the thing that I am doing on the face of the earth. So I want to be in the best of the attire. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Nowadays you will find the scholars. They think having a topi which has hole on the topi is zuhud. Having kurta, pajama, whatever you're wearing, or soap that you're wearing, dress that you're wearing, holes on that. If they're poor, no problem. But there's some people who are rich who can afford, but then still they look really, what is it? They don't really look tidy, shabby hair and things like that. No, this is not from Islam. Keeping tidy, keeping clean. This is from the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you know, during the time of Rasulullah, two Sahaba came to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They're traveling. One Sahabi, he went and met him. Immediately he reached Medina, he went and met Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't clean himself, he was not in Tahara, he just went and met. Another Sahabi, he went, he cleaned himself, he got ready to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he came and met Rasulullah sallallahu told, this is the sunnah of me. Keeping yourself clean, keeping yourself clean. And one of the teachers of Imam Malik, he will not teach unless he is in the state of Tahara. Unless in the state of Tahara. That is who? Jafar Sadiq. Until he does not teach a hadith, until he makes wudu, then he teaches. Because he doesn't want to take the name of Rasulullah or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he is in the state of, it is allowed. It is absolutely allowed, no problem. But yet he does not befit, he does not seem, it is a kind of not respectful to use the name of Allah and Rasul when they are not in the state of Tahara. So Imam Malik used to dress well and he used to go into the masjid and teach and teach. For every time, every durus he used to teach. And Imam Malik, the way he teaches is, subhanAllah, normally what happens to the scholars is that we go to the scholar and the scholar recite the hadith. Yes or no? The scholar recite the hadith and we memorize the hadith. But Imam Malik is not like that. The student has to recite the hadith and Imam Malik will correct them. The other way around. Imam Malik will correct them. And not only that, Imam Malik does not take any hadith that which is not authentic. They always take hadith which are authentic. Any hadith which is not authentic, they will not take. When it comes to muhaddithin, there is a difference of opinion among the muhaddithin that, whether to accept da'if hadith or not. But Imam Malik, he never used to accept da'if hadith. And he never used to accept from those people who are known to be innovators. Once what happened, there is this a scholar called Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani. You must have heard Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani. He's from among the scholars, but he had some little innovations here and there. And you will find his name in most of the Kutub Sitta. Most of the Kutub Sitta, you will find his name. And once he met him in Medina, in Makkah, during the Hajj, and at the well of Zamzam, somebody was taking the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Ayyub as-Sakhtiyani started crying, remembering the name, remembering Allah, remembering Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's when Imam Malik, he changed his opinion, saying that this man may be innovative, but he is truthful. Then he started taking hadith from him, taking hadith from him. So it is absolutely fine, inshallah ta'ala. So Imam Malik, he used to teach this way. And when he was teaching this way, there are certain things that Imam Malik used to follow. Certain things Imam Malik used to follow. In his classroom, okay, he will not allow any students to raise their voice. Raise their voice. He says, do not raise the voice. He was strict. And not only that, in the history, it is mentioned that Imam Malik had some bodyguards. Some bodyguards. Why? Not to protect Imam Malik. He says if somebody are making, if somebody are arguing arguing with Imam Malik, if they are talking too much, he will take them out of the class. And that is a punishment. Once what happened, one of the students, he came all the way from a different city. And to an extent, what happened to him is that his father sold his property, house, everything, gave him money, go and gain knowledge from Imam Malik. So he came to Imam Malik's class and he wanted to learn hadith from Imam Malik. And Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, he was teaching and he started arguing with Imam Malik on certain thing. And Imam Malik got angry and he was removed from the class. When he was removed from the class, one of the students of Imam Malik, he followed him and he started beating him outside the masjid. Outside the masjid, he beat him. And when Imam Malik finished his class, when he was going back to the house, he goes to Imam Malik. His name is, I think, Hisham. I do not exactly remember. He goes to Imam Malik and he says, you have done zulm upon me. Imam Malik says, what did I do to you? What did I do to you? He says, I sold my property. I came here to gain knowledge from you, but you removed from the class. And not only that, one of your students bet me. One of your students bet me. Then now Imam Malik is feeling embarrassed. He asks, tell me, how do I compensate that? What do I do to compensate this? Then he says, yeah, Imam, for every beating that I got, teach me one hadith. Teach me one hadith. So 15 to 20 times he beat him. So he taught him 20 times. And further, the student, he says that, yeah, Imam, call that student again, ask him to beat me so that I can learn more and more hadith. That's when Imam Malik, rahimahullah, he started laughing more. He say, what kind of student is this? And to an extent, subhanAllah, he became very close to Imam Malik and he also became one of the greatest scholars in the later stage. Allah. So when you are, studious, when you are sincere to gain knowledge, you will become from among the scholars, So whenever you are gaining knowledge, be sincere. Be sincere for yourself. Be sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be sincere to learn about Allah and Rasul. Knowledge is not a thing that can be given to anyone. Knowledge is only for those people whom Allah bestows. It is a special mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon the blessed slaves, Imam Malik says, the knowledge is a nur, and it is a nur of the heart. Like Imam Shafi said, يعني العلم نور لا يؤتي إلى العاصي. The knowledge is a nur from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will not be given to any sinner. Sinner will not have the knowledge. Allah knows best. But knowledge is something which is it is a thing that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will be bestowed only for special cases, inshallah ta'ala. Once Imam Malik, rahimahullah, he was walking by Medina, in the streets of Medina. Look at how humble they are. Look at how humble they are. Not only humble, how much concerned they are for the ummah. One thing which I would like to tell you is that the scholars are always concerned for the ummah. And those scholars who are concerned for the ummah, to rectify the affairs of the ummah, Allah will elevate the status. And there are some scholars who are concerned about themselves. Allah will destroy them. Sometimes their knowledge is a fitna for themselves. Imam Malik, rahimahullah, he was walking in the streets and he found a person who was drunkard, who's drunk, who's drunk, and he is shouting, Allah, Allah, Muhammad, Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was keep shouting and he's taking the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Malik, he found him in the streets of Medina and he goes to him and he takes his sleeve, the sleeve. He takes his sleeve and he cleans his mouth. He cleans his mouth. He's a drunkard. He cleans his mouth. And not only that, he takes him to his house, not his house, to the drunkard's house, to his own house, and he cleans him and he cooks for him until he lost his what do you say? Intoxication. Until he's out of his intoxication. Subhanallah. And Imam Malik leaves him. Imam Malik leaves him and goes back. During the sleep, a person comes to Imam Malik and says, verily you have purified him and Allah has purified you. Allah has purified you. SubhanAllah, look at this dream. And next day morning, when he goes to the masjid, he finds this man standing in the first line. He finds the drunkard standing in the first line and clean. And he's standing and praying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Imam Malik meets him and he says about the dream. He also got the same dream. Verily, Allah has purified you. Verily, Allah has purified you. Imam Malik becomes extremely happy, subhanAllah. Extremely happy. So what does this show? What does this show? The moment you are concerned for the ummah, okay, to rectify their affairs without judging them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will elevate your status. The moment you start judging those people, somebody comes to you and says, yeah, Sheikh, I did this, I did that. And you start judging that person, what kind of person you are, get lost from me. And this is not from the ways of the scholars. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, some people used to come to Rasulullah saying, Ya Rasulullah, permit me to commit zina. Ya Rasulullah, I committed zina. How did Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam reply to them? In a very good way. He didn't rebuke them. He didn't insult them. He didn't destroy them. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. This is something which is very important for every Muslim. Every Muslim. To an extent, there is a thing called, there is this trend in Medina. Trend in Medina is that whenever Imam Malik is there, nobody are allowed to give fatwa. This slogan was going on. How this happened is, there was a woman who passed away. There was a woman who passed away, and other ladies used to give her, ghusl of janazah. While giving ghusl of janazah, this is a real story which happened. Okay, the woman who was giving ghusl to the janazah, she said that verily this private part has committed a lot of zina. While giving ghusl to the dead body. And what happened? She had kept her hand on her thighs, and she was not able to remove her hand from the thighs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala attached her hands all over the thighs of that woman, and they were not able to understand what to do. And they go to Imam Malik. Imam Malik says, go and lash her. Go and lash her. Lashing, 80 lashes for those people who slanders a woman or a man of committing zina. This punishment. Go and lash her. And they lashed her. That's when Allah freed her hand from thighs of the woman. Allahu Akbar. This kind of, we will not be able to understand as to what to do. Imam Malik, look at the knowledge of Imam Malik. And not only that, second thing, a dead body, somebody is dead, do not speak bad about that person. You might have known bad things about him or her. It is not allowed for you to talk about those things. Not only that, talking bad about, if you find any bad things on their body while giving ghusl, something which is not pleasant for you, it is not allowed for you to tell these things to anyone that, I found some unpleasant things on the body of a woman or a man. It is not allowed. And when it is not allowed in that situation, how is it allowed to talk about bad about a Muslim when he is alive or dead? And talking bad about any Muslim, alive or dead, unless that is which is required to tell the people from the harm of that person, it is not allowed for anybody to spread the sins of any Muslim, inshallah ta'ala. Is it clear now? Now, Imam Shafi, rahimahullah ta'ala, he is one of the students of Imam Malik. And he studied almost like 5 to 6 years with Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala. Imam Shafi, he says that, إِذَا ذُكِرَ الْأَثَرِ Yani, if the hadith is mentioned, if any hadith is mentioned, فَالْمَالِكُ النَّجْمُ, and Malik is a star. Malik is a star because of the extensive knowledge of having hadith of Imam Malik. Imam Malik was considered to be one of the greatest scholars of hadith. So Imam Shafi says this. Imam Abu Hanifa says that really, when Imam Abu Hanifa met Imam Malik during the Hajj time, and they had, both had discussion, and Imam Abu Hanifa tells about Imam Malik that Imam Malik is really on the straight path, on the straight path. Subhanallah, straight path. Allah Musta'an. And not only that, some of the scholars from Egypt, some of the scholars from different countries, they saw a dream on Imam Malik that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes out from the grave and leaning on the sides of Abu Bakr and Umar, and he says, verily Imam Malik is on the right path. On the right path. And they write this letter to Imam Malik, say that we saw the dream. And multiple scholars say, saw the same dream. And they narrate this dream to Imam Malik. And Imam Malik, when he heard about this, he started praying, Allah Musta'an. Imagine if somebody comes and tells you, Rasulullah came to my dream and saying you are from people of Jannah. How do you feel? How do you feel? It's a happy. Not only one person, that person comes and tells you, and he doesn't know you. He doesn't know you, and you doesn't know him. And he comes and tells you. There are many stories like this. Inshallah, maybe some other session we'll be talking about that. So Imam Malik and these scholars who are teachers of Imam Malik, they predicted that Imam Malik is going to become one of the greatest scholars, one of the greatest scholars in the future. And during the time of Imam Malik, the Umayyah left. Umayyah used to rule, and Abbasi used to rule now. Abbasiya dynasty. During Abbasiya dynasty, we know that Harun al-Rashid, Harun al-Rashid, one of the greatest caliph of what do you say in the Abbasid dynasty. Harun al-Rashid, he sends a message to Imam Malik saying that please come to Damascus, okay, and teach my children a hadith. Imam Malik says, no, I will not. I will not come. Let them come here and learn. Let them come here and learn. And I will not treat the children of caliph differently from the children of other people. You want to do justice. And Imam Malik, if you know, he has never left Medina, except for Hajj or whatever it is, for Umrah. He never left Medina. He was always in Medina. He was always in Medina. That's because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that the one who dies in Medina, probably there is some benefit. I forgot the hadith. Sifarish, the intercession. This is hadith, authentic hadith. If somebody wants to die, let him have tamanna that let him die in Medina. Let him die in Medina. There's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Imam Malik does not want to go out, and he didn't need to go out because most of the Sahaba and their students, they were living in Medina, and Medina was safest place from any kind of fitna, any kind of fitna. So Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, Harun al-Rashid thought, maybe Imam Malik wants money. So he sends sacks of gold and to him, asking him to come. Imam Malik says, no, I will not come. Tell him I do not need money. So Imam Harun al-Rashid, he himself comes to Imam Malik asking, I want to learn hadith from you. And once what happened during the Jum'ah, one of the days of Jum'ah, when Imam Malik was giving khutbah, there is a trend called, the caliphs, the Khalifa, they never used to sit with the common people. They used to sit on the chair. So there was a chair which was erected. There was a chair which was erected separately for Harun al-Rashid. So when Imam Malik came inside, he saw him sitting on the chair separately. So Imam Malik khutbah was something else, and he changed the topic on spot. The topic was be humble and Allah will elevate you. Be humble and Allah will elevate you. Not even half of the khutbah finished, Harun al-Rashid told his bodyguards to take away the chair, and he sat down along with the people. This is how Imam Malik used to teach. And Harun al-Rashid did not get angry. He did not get angry. And he was a righteous man, alhamdulillah. He was a righteous man. He understood. And Imam Malik is so humble. The way he tells people, that is something which is very important. You can correct people in different way, but the way you correct is very important. Correcting is not important. The way you correct is important. Is it clear now? The way you correct, they will take it, inshallah ta'ala. If you're going, hey, what happens? There will be fight. But if you correct in a proper way using hikmah, that is how, inshallah ta'ala, you will be able to make them understand. So Harun al-Rashid, he told, then he taught his children. He himself came to Imam Malik and he started gaining knowledge. That's when Imam Malik said, Al-ilmu yu'ta wala ya'ti. The knowledge is being sought, not knowledge does not come. For example, if the animal is hungry, the animal is thirsty, or human being hungry or thirsty, are we sitting here and say, "Allah, give me water and food"? No, we go out and strive, isn't it? Similarly, you can't sit and gain knowledge. You have to go and strive in the way of knowledge. To learn hadith, Sahaba radiallahu anhum, tabi'een, they used to travel for miles together, thousands of miles, 2,000 miles. They used to travel for one hadith. One hadith. I thank you people also. Always coming from all the way from Subhanallah, 35 from here, 35 to 40 kilometers almost. All the way from the other end of Bangalore, outskirts of Bangalore, you come here. Barakallah, I accept it. And this is the sincerity. Allah will put barakah in the ilm. Barakah in the ilm. So people, they say, no, we can't come, we can't travel, this and that. Subhanallah, if you're serious to gain knowledge, wherever there is ilm, you will travel there. And that's where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept your knowledge, So Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, there is this a famous incident that which happened between Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz al-Umari. Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz al-Umari, he is also one of the greatest scholars of those times. He wrote a letter to Imam Malik saying that, yeah, Imam, concentrate more on, on self-ibadah. Concentrate more on self-ibadah. Not only just knowledge. If somebody comes and tells you, stop studying every time, go and worship Allah also. How do you say, hey, get lost from me? What do you know about me? Do you think you can teach me? That's how we react. But Imam Malik reacted in a different way. And look at the way Imam Malik reacted to this particular thing. Imam Malik, he read in Allah, he says that he wrote a letter back to Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz al-Umari. He said that, Inna Allah kassam al-amal. Really, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has divided the acts, divided the deeds among the people, kama kassam al-arzaq, as he divided the rizq among the people. Among the people there are rich, among the people there are poor, among the people there are middle class, among there are different categories of human beings. Similarly, when it comes to actions, among the people there are different people with different actions. For example, for some people Allah has given knowledge, for some people Allah has given worship. A person who fasts cannot pray. A person can pray but cannot fast. A person can go for Hajj but cannot give zakat. A person gives zakat but cannot go for Hajj, isn't it? There are some people who can pray, who can fast, who go for Hajj, who has knowledge. They are very little, very very less people with such kind of characteristics. Like Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he had all kinds of characteristics in him, isn't it? That's why Abu Bakr can enter any door of Jannah, Not every Sahabi, but not every Sahabi. Similarly, subhanallah, the actions that you have, and Imam Malik, he writes back to him saying that as Allah has divided the risk among the people, Allah also divided the amal, actions among the people. If Allah has given tawfiq for some of the people to fast, Allah did not give tawfiq for some others to to perform salah. Salah in the sense fasting, we're not talking about the obligatory fast or obligatory prayers. We're talking about sunnah and nawafil. If Allah has given some of them the ability of performing hajj, for them there is no ability of giving zakat. Some of them can give zakat, but they cannot fast. Some of them can give fast, but they cannot pray. Yes or no? So this is the amal which are divided among the people. So Allah has given me the knowledge, and Allah has given you the tawfiq of performing more and more good deeds. So as far as knowledge, with knowledge, I become close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As far as the actions, the deeds are considered, you become close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But our manzil is same, that is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at the way Imam Malik, he responded to Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz al-Umari, rahimahullah ta'ala. This is how, subhanallah, Imam Malik used to respond to such kind of people. Sometimes what happens is, always, there is always people who come and irritate you. Especially some scholars are irritated. So some scholars are irritated. Imam Malik, he says that if you are in the way of Rasul, in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you are not harmed in that way, then there is a problem in you. If you see the history of scholars, most of the scholars are being tortured or put into different kind of tests. Likewise, Imam Malik was put into different kind of tests. What test? Sometimes test from the students, sometimes just from the normal common man. One man, he comes to Imam Malik and he asks, "Yeah, Imam, tell me about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tell me about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where Allah is, how Allah is." Basically, he is asking a question about istiwa, about the istiwa. Istiwa, what is meaning of istiwa? ثم استوى على الأرش. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he ascended over the throne, over the throne. So Imam Malik becomes extremely, what do you say, fearful. And he says, Al-istiwa'u ma'lumun. The ascension of Allah is known, right? Wa kayfiyatu majhul. The howness is the word in English. Uh, how it is, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is above the earth, which is something which is unknown. وَالْإِيمَانُ بِهِ وَاجِبٌ. But having iman that Allah is above the arsh is wajib. So what does it mean? Allah is not everywhere. Imam Abu Hanifa also, he also says, الذي يقول أن الله سبحانه وتعالى في كل مكان وهو كافر ومرتد. If anybody he says that Allah is everywhere, he is a kafir and murtad. Who says this? Imam Abu Hanifa. And Imam Malik, he says, والاستواء معلوم وكيفية مجهول, and وَإِيمَانُ بِهِ وَاجِبٌ وَسُوَالُ عَنْهُ بِدَعَةٌ. And asking question is about that is a bid'ah. So beautifully he framed this. Every single aspect of Aqidah is explained in just these 4 sentences. Asking question about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, how his face is, how his hands is. All these things are not allowed in the religion of Islam. We believe in Allah. We believe in the names and attributes of Allah the way it is. Allah says Allah has face, hands and legs. We do not make any shabaha of the creation of any created thing. We do not have these thoughts, we do not have what do you say, the we don't we don't imagine how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. We can't imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, but we believe Allah, how Allah's face. We can't we just know that Allah has face, hands and legs. So this is something every Muslim has to keep in the mind, inshallah ta'ala, when it comes to Aqidah. When it comes to Aqidah. Is it clear now? طيب. So Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, this is how he used to deal with some of the students. And this is how he used to deal with some of the people who used to come and gain knowledge from him. And when he talks about Imam Malik rahimahullah, he was born in the best of the generations. And the factors which contributed Imam Malik to gain knowledge and the spread knowledge is, he didn't have much of the responsibilities of taking care, because he himself was rich. And not only that, he took care of Imam Shafi until he finished his studies. This is one of the characteristics of some of the scholars. Like Imam Abu Hanifa, he used to give stipend to the students. Imam Malik also used to give stipend to some of the students. He used to take care of some of the students. Allahu Akbar. May Allah, if Allah gives us, we will also, call students and give them money and make them study. Nowadays, it is the other way. The scholars themselves are in need of somebody else. If they speak truth, they are removed from the positions. This is a reality, isn't it? This is a reality. If they speak truth, they are removed from institutions, from the colleges, from the government, from their positions. This is what is happening, subhanallah. And this has been happening not only now. This has been happening from the past. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ ظَلُومًا وَجَهُولًا. Verily, human beings are always doing oppression, and they are ignorant about such things, inshallah. Some of the students of Imam Malik are his daughter, and Fatima, and Imam Shafi, rahimahullah ta'ala, Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani. He is also a student of Imam Shafi, Imam Abu Hanifa, and he is also a student of Imam Malik, and he is the one who spread the madhab of Imam Malik rahimahullah. Hisham ibn Ammar and Abdul Rehman ibn al-Qasim. Abdul Rehman ibn al-Qasim is the one who is responsible to spread the knowledge of Imam Malik, and he's from actually from the Egypt, and he says that I was with Imam Malik, I studied with Imam Malik under Imam Malik for 20 years. For 20 years. Nowadays, you study for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and you can claim yourself as a mufti. They study for 20, 30, 40 years, and yet they humble themselves. So the more you gain knowledge, the more humble you'll become. So Abdul Rehman ibn al-Qasim, he says that when he went back after studying with Imam Malik, he says that, I studied knowledge 1 year with Imam Malik, and for 19 years I studied other manners. And after going back, he says, no, even that 20 years I would have studied adab from Imam Malik. So this is something which is very important for a scholar. Adab. Adab means what? The way you talk, the way you handle the way you handle situation, the way you handle things around you. This is something which is very important for every scholars. If you are like this, change yourself in the future. You keep changing yourself. Some people are like, I will never change. I'm like this, I will be like this. No, it's not like that. You can change and you have to change, inshallah ta'ala. Right. Now, talking about the fiqh of Imam Malik is that Imam Malik used to use Quran, then Sunnah, Ijtihad, Aqwal Sahaba, then Qiyas. Then he used to use something called Masail al-Mursal. Masail al-Mursal is something where he used to see the situation of the people, and based on the situation, he gives fatwa. Even though that fatwa is something which is not, according to the sunnah, according to the sunnah, looking at the situation of the people. There's something called dariya. Satu dariya is, to evaluate two things, if it is greater harm or lesser harm. If it is greater or lesser. You understand what I'm saying, right? So we will not go in detail about all these things, it's not possible right now, because when we study usul al-fiqh, that itself teaching Satu dariya, it takes hours together. There are my students who learned usul al-fiqh from me, and I taught them these usul al-fiqh for about one entire year, usul al-fiqh and this particular mas'ala. So it is not possible for me to explain everything. And Imam Malik, he uses another thing called the customs of the urf of the customs of people of Medina. So people of Medina, the practice of Medina, he used to take them as presidents in order to give the fatwa, because he believes that they are from the descendants of Sahaba radiallahu anhu. And Sahaba radiallahu anhu learned from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So this is how Imam Malik used to give his verdict. And Imam Malik wrote some book, that is Muwatta Imam Malik. Muwatta. Muwatta is a hadith which consists of about 2,000 hadith. And he took about 40 years to write this book and compile this book. And this book was named as Muwatta. And this Muwatta was one of the books after the Quran during those times, which was considered as an authentic book. Once after Imam Bukhari came, then this book was sidelined. Okay, but it was one of the books and one of the first books of hadith which was compiled in the field of hadith, and that is Muwatta Imam Malik, which consists of how many hadith? 2,000 hadith. In fact, Imam Jafar al-Mansur, he said that Imam Harun al-Rashid, he said that let's make this book to hang inside the Kaaba, inside the Kaaba. He said, no, ya Imam. No, ya Khalifa, we will not make this as a book inside the Kaaba, because there are differences among the people, differences among the scholars. That is a rahmah for the people. Let not my verdict only be the final verdict. So I don't want to use this. And Imam Malik declined. This is the humbleness. Somebody comes and tells you, so you wrote a book, and the King Salman comes and tells you, your book is beautiful. Let's make this book as a fiqh for the entire ummah. What will you do? Inshallah. MashaAllah, you go ahead. Yeah, I'm happy about you doing this. That's what we have, right? Imam Malik, don't do that. He said, no, don't do that. Don't do that. SubhanAllah. This is the humbleness of Imam Malik. And we're talking about Muwatta, there is a story. So what is the story? After Imam Malik wrote a book, he laid an example for many other scholars to write many other books. So there were hundreds of Muwatta written during his time. Hundreds of books, like similar like Muwatta. Okay, so the Muwatta, a person went to Imam Malik and said, yeah, Imam, you wrote Muwatta. Now there are hundreds of Muwatta. What do you think? Somebody will read your Muwatta? And he says a beautiful statement. Ma kana lillahi baqiya. He says, whatever is done for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remain. And until today, nobody remembers any other Muwatta except the Muwatta of Imam Malik, except the Muwatta of Imam Malik. Allah musta'an. Allah musta'an. Look at this. So if you are sincere with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is going to elevate your status. Allah is going to elevate your status, and Allah is going to make your work as a what do you say, blessing for you until the day of judgment. Imam Malik is in the grave now. Even now I have Imam Muwatta 2 volumes here. And subhanAllah, that book still we are studying that. We are referring those books. But no other Muwatta has been referred. So here what happened, Imam Malik, Imam al-Laythi, Imam Shafi, he says that when it comes to hadith, Imam al-Laythi has more knowledge than Imam Malik. More knowledge than Imam Malik. But there is something that Imam Malik does. That is something between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Imam Malik always says that always correct your inner actions than the outer actions. Outer in the public. If you correct your inner actions, Allah is going to correct your outer actions. And Allah is going to bless you more. Allah is going to bless you more. So the inner ibadah that you do in your home is much better than the ibadah that you do in the public. So make yourself better when it comes to inner ibadah. Okay, now going to the last, inshallah. After that, we will take the questions. If there are any questions, inshallah, you can type in the chat and we'll take the questions in 5 minutes. So Imam Malik, rahimahullah, he became extremely old. And in one particular time, what happened? There was this guy, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur again. Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, who hit Imam Abu Hanifa. Now he lashed Imam Malik also. What is the reason? What is the reason? The reason is that there was this revolt which was going on between some of the family members of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Khulafa. Okay, the revolt was going between them. So Imam Malik supported one of the family members of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he made a statement. And that statement is that if somebody is forced to marry, marriage is invalid. The marriage is invalid. That means if somebody is forced to give bay'ah to Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, that means it is not necessary for him to accept him as a Khalifa. So indirectly he made the statement. Because of this statement, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur went to him and just remove the statement, to take back the statement. Imam Malik said, no, I will not take back the statement. So he was beaten so severely, he was not able to lift his hands. He was not able to lift his hands. That's why you will see some of the people from Tunisia, from North Africa, from Morocco. If you see them, in India, you will not find. If you go to Makka, they will not raise their hands. They will not keep their hands on their here. They won't keep their hands, but they leave their hands and they perform salah. That's because they follow the Maliki madhab. Since Imam Malik performed, Imam Malik was not able to lift his hands. That's why he was not able to lift his hands, because he was lashed so severely, he was not able to lift. It did not think nothing to do with the fiqh, nothing to do with the fiqh. But they say this is they follow Imam Malik and salah will be valid. Absolutely, salah will be valid. But he was not able to lift his hands. And not only that, after that he was asked to, take back the statement, but he did not take back the statement. And eventually he was released from the prison also. And Imam Malik, rahimahullah, not only that, he was not only lashed, they shaved his beard. Not only shaved his beard, they made him to go around the city of Medina on an animal, disrespecting him. And he was lashed, he was beaten in front of the public. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Imagine the situation. And after that, Imam Malik goes back to Masjid Nabawi. Again, he resumes his classes. He starts his classes. And somebody went and told him, why did you take revenge against him? Why didn't you say something against him? He says, I do not want to take revenge for my personal grudge. And I do not want to make dua against Ja'far al-Mansur, because he is from the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I don't want to see a person who is from the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam going to Jahannam. Allahu Akbar. Look at these people are, I don't know, you have to learn a lot of things about these people. And he didn't want to make dua against the one who oppressed him. And sometimes we make dua, that is the level of iman we have. We keep somebody oppress you, just make dua against that person. And later you regret. But you made a dua, right? That's why always be very careful when you are cursing somebody. Cursing is not really good. Cursing is not really good thing. So Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala in the year 179 Hijri, in Medina, he passed away. And during his olden age, he stopped coming to the masjid because he had some problem with leakage of urine, and he felt sad, and he didn't want to come out due to shyness, and he didn't want to go and sit in the Masjid Nabawi because of that, and he passed away in the year 179 Hijri, and he was buried in Makki. was buried in Baqi. We said Jannatul Baqi, right? It is not Jannatul Baqi. It's Maqbaratul Baqi in Medina, and he was buried just next to Nafi, Imam Nafi, Mawla Umar, and even now, if you go to Medina, inshallah, you can find his grave. Unless they will not tell whose grave it is, but people, a student of knowledge, know it. So when we were in Makkah, we used to go to Medina. We know which grave of Aisha's grave, which is the grave of Usman, which is the grave of Sahaba radiallahu. We knew it, but they will not tell people because people go and fall. They'll take mud from there. They go to their, what do you say, their countries, and they use tabarruk. They seek blessings from it. All this thing they'll do, but they won't tell generally to the public masses. This is the Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala. In our next week, inshallah ta'ala, we will discuss about Imam Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i, the Imam of Fiqh, inshallah ta'ala, in our next Saturday. If there are any questions, we'll take the questions and we'll wind the class as early as possible. You can read out the questions, inshallah. Any questions? Yeah. There's a question. Imam Malik was born in the year 79 Hijri. 79. 79 or sorry, 93 Hijri. Sorry, 93. He was passed in 179 Hijri. Yeah. The Muwatta Imam Malik has got the hadith which are Mursal, Munqati. Mursal and Munqati are known as the hadith from Sahaba radiallahu anhum, which is, when we say Mursal, there is a breakage in chain. Munqati, there is a breakage in Tabi'in. That's what the hadith, yes, it has the statements of Sahaba radiallahu anhum. So, yes. There is a question. It is told that Imam Malik is not from purely, they're not from Arabs, right? No, Imam Malik is actually from Yemen. Their forefathers from Yemen. Their forefathers are from Yemen. So they migrated from Yemen to Medina. And they're from Arabs. They're from the Arabs. Yes. Imam Shafi'i is an Arab. Okay. And he's from the progeny of Rasulullah, from the family of Rasulullah. Imam Ahmed, Imam Abu Hanifa, they're not Arabs. Yes. Oh, nice question. The question is that why do we don't follow the Muwatta Imam Malik? Does it have any problem? No, there are books, there are ulama who explain these books, alhamdulillah. But thing is that we study these books, but better than this we have Bukhari. Better than this book we have Sahih Muslim. Better than this we have many other Kutub Sitta, the other books of Hadith. So people study that over this Hadith, and this is also one of the books of Hadith, inshallah. So there is no problem in studying that, because it has some mursal hadith, as I told you, mursal munqati and mawquf hadith in that. Okay, this question is that the deducing methodology, first he uses Quran and Sunnah. Quran, then hadith, then the qawl sahaba, ijtihad, qiyas, and there is something called urf of the Medina, the people of Medina, the customs of the people of Medina, the practice of the people of Medina. And there is something called Saddud Dariya. Saddud Dariya means if there are two issues, okay, if that issue is which causes greater harm, causes lesser harm. So he takes the issue that which causes the lesser harm. Saddud Dariya. Okay, and there is something called Masailul Mursal. Masailul Mursal is where sometimes because of the situation of the people, he gives verdict based on the situation. That is Masail al-Mursal. And this is how he deduces the law, inshallah. Okay, the question is that, is my salah valid if I keep my hands below the navel? Below the navel. Absolutely valid. Absolutely valid. No problem at all. So do not fight with those people who are keeping hands on the above the navel or below the navel. Salah is absolutely valid. Because keeping the hands, raising the hands, all these things are sunan al-failiyah. Sunan al-failiyah means the sunnah acts when it comes to actions. So this is absolutely from the sunnah. If you do it or do not do it, it's absolutely fine, inshallah ta'ala. Salah is valid, inshallah. No problem. I do take class in hadith, and there are many classes which are in my channel. If you see Bulugh al-Maram, Kitab Tahara and Salah. So inshallah, you can follow those classes in my channel. Type my name, Abdul Rehman Haran Makki. You will get my channel. Inshallah, there are many classes, 1 hour, 45 minutes, 15 minutes classes. Inshallah, we have plans to start the Bulugh al-Maram and other hadith classes in the future, inshallah ta'ala. We'll be updating you soon about these classes. Yeah. The hadith, this is the hadith. Rasulullah says, whoever can die in Medina, we do not know where we will die. But make tamanna of dying in Medina, and if he dies in Medina, and Rasulullah will intercede for that person. This is Sahih hadith. Hadith Sahih. Yes. Anything. Whatever niyyah you keep, if you die, if you have a niyyah of going to Medina and dying there, alhamdulillah. Let our soul be taken in Makkah or Medina. It is not about where you die and how you die. In what situation you die is more important. The situation is whether you're on Tawheed, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always make dua, oh Allah, take my soul when you are pleased with me. And take my soul when you find me in highest of Iman. Oh Allah, take my soul when you find me doing the best of the things. This make a regular dua in your prayers. Inshallah, Allah will grant you that. See, as I told you, there is a certain tribe in Middle East. The tribe is known as Banu Tamim. So those women from Banu Tamim, they carry children for 4 years. This is their birth. After 4 years only, they will be able to deliver the child. So maybe, Imam Malik, and his mother is not from Banu Tamim. And also talking about his mother, she's also, she's not a common woman. She encourages people to gain knowledge. She also attends the circles of knowledge. And also Imam Malik was born, and this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows the significance of her carrying for a certain period of time. There is nothing to do with this. So this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is it clear? That it? Inshallah. Yeah. When we talk about Salah, there are 14 Arkanus Salah. There are 8 Wajibat. There are nearly about 40 Sunan al-Fi'liyah and Sunan al-Qawliyah. The statements which are actions. Salah is completely of this. So these things are actually istinbat. What do you say istinbat? Deduced from the hadith. There's hadith of Rasulullah, many hadith which specifically says wasjud. With this, we'll understand that these are the arkan, and ulama made things easy for us in the later stage. Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they knew it is from the rukun. They knew it is from the wajib. They didn't have, Rasul did not teach them this from the arkan, this from the wajibat, this from sunnah, this from mustahabbat. He didn't teach all these things. But Sahaba, they understood automatically all these things. But later generations, to make things easy for them, they made this arkan, wajibat. Why we have to study this? Because, if arkan goes, any rukun of the salah goes, salah will be invalid. What are we supposed to do in that situation? If wajibat does, then there is a compensation. If sunnah, or if anything from among the sunnah goes, we misses, then salah is absolutely valid. So for example, dua will istiftah, the dua that you say Allahu Akbar, and you say recite the thana. What is it? سبحانك اللهم رب وبحمدك وتبارك اسمك وتعالى جدك أو there are many other dua if you recite. This is something mustahabbat. Okay, and reciting Subhana Rabbil Ali, Subhana Rabbil Azim more than once is sunnah. So once it is wajib. Okay, Surah Fatiha is wajib from the rukun. Making sujood is from the rukun. Making ruku is from the rukun, from the arkan. If you missed it, the entire deed will be disqualified. So that is how it is deduced from the hadith. Huh? Watch my Bulugul Maram classes. You can give from the Kitab Salah, you will understand. It is the entire thing I can't teach you here. It takes hours together. You follow those classes, inshallah. Other everything. For Hajj also there are arkan, wajibat, sunnah, like that, inshallah. Okay. For every act there is some mustahabbat, some conditions. Yeah. No, I don't take class for the kids. That's it. Tayyib, inshallah. We'll see you next week um, with Imam Shafi rahimahullah ta'ala. See you next Saturday with the same time. بارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله خيرا ونفعنا بنا وبكم الإسلام والمسلمين ووفقكم الله جميعا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.